Welcome back, everyone. All eyes are on two Georgia Senate runoffs. If you live in Georgia, I don't care how you do it, but you need to vote. Republicans David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler are running against two radicals who despise the America you and I love. Just listen to them.
Change has come to Georgia. Change is coming to America.
America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness.
What in the world is he talking about? These anti-freedom global socialists are dangerous. But even worse is Senator Chuck Schumer, that is really who these two Republicans are running against. Because here is the question. Do you want Mitch McConnell running the United States Senate, a man with an A rating from the NRA, or do you want Chuck Schumer in charge, a man with an F rating from the NRA? And just about every other organization that cherishes freedom, by the way. Stopping his radical agenda is what these Georgia races are all about.
Now we take Georgia, and then we change America.
As for the filibuster, I'm not busting my chops to become majority leader to do very little or nothing. As I've said, everything is on the table.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Well, that kind of vindictive, power-hungry sewer rat does not need more power. So do not listen to any Republican who tells you this next election in Georgia will be rigged, your vote doesn't matter. If it is or isn't rigged, the bottom line is this: we never give up, we vote. We never stop fighting, we vote. So don't pack it in now, vote. And if I hear any Republican that tells another Republican not to vote because they think the system is rigged, which it may be, it may not be, it doesn't matter, that Republican needs to come on this program and talk about it, because they will cost us the United States Senate. Someone who knows firsthand about how important Georgia is right now when it comes to saving America is Republican Congressman from Georgia, Barry Loudermilk. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Grant, it's good to be with you.
Well, it's great to have you on. I wonder maybe you could explain to the viewers how this race, sure, they're running against Ossoff and Warnock, but really Nancy Pelosi is going to be the one pulling the strings of Chuck Schumer, isn't she?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Nancy Pelosi is the central figure of all the Democrats, whether they're in the Senate, the House, even in the White House, should the Biden administration actually occupy the White House. Nancy Pelosi is the one calling the shots, and she has sided with the radical liberal leftists, the progressives. Everything that she's done in this last Congress that she's pushed through the House has been driven or heavily influenced by the left. And make no doubt about it, Chuck Schumer wants to radically change or fundamentally change America. That's what Barack Obama promised he would do. He wasn't able to deliver on it. They're going to take that and take it to extremes. And you won't recognize this country if they get what they want to get done in this country. It won't look anything like it has looked for the last 240 years.
You know, Congressman, I have no doubt there was fraud that took place in this election regarding President Trump. And I will say, in one respect, the Democrats played an unbelievable game with this mail-in ballot charade. I would tell every Republican, if they know someone who's old and can't get to the polls, forget about this, get them to the polls. I say play the same game. Mail the ballots in, find everybody you know, mail the ballots in. What are you telling your constituents?
That we have to be engaged. We have to vote. Just like you were saying, there is no excuse not to show up and vote. That is just handing it over to the Democrats. Yes, I believe there was fraud in this election. People say, give us the evidence. Well, you have to investigate to get to the evidence. We have a lot of circumstantial evidence. I mean, if you look in Georgia, Republicans won up and down the ballot, except for the presidential and the Senate race. Tell me how that has happened when Republicans held the House and the Senate. We made great gains in Georgia. Look, there's a lot of interesting things I think will come out of this election, but we have to continue to fight to make sure that future elections are trustworthy. They have integrity. But in the meantime, we have to fight back as hard and even harder than the Democrats have done, because the future of our children and grandchildren depend on every Georgian getting to the polls and letting their voice be heard.
Yeah, you know, Congressman, there's recount again in Georgia, starts tomorrow. They're not going to compare signatures. Now, the governor and secretary of state said they're open to that, but as of right now, if you're not comparing signatures, are we just going through the same rigmarole we went through the last time?
Exactly. It has to be a deeper forensic audit done. Now, what the Secretary of State is saying, oh, we've already verified the signatures and we've separated the ballots from the envelopes. You still have to verify to make sure that people that are voting are people that should be voting. Whether you can discount their ballot or not in the last election, we need to know if it's people who have voted illegally, that they don't do it again in this runoff. And so you may not be able to link the ballot, but that still doesn't get you out of doing your job to make sure that only legal residents, legal citizens of Georgia are the ones that are casting ballots. And they need to not just compare the signature to the application for the absentee ballot, but back to the registration, the original registration. There has definitely been fraud. When we were working the days after the election, helping Republicans who had 2 days to what they call cure their absentee ballots, we came across several instances of people telling us of potential fraud. One lady we talked to, her son, who was killed in Afghanistan 3 years ago, he voted in this election. And she's trying to figure out how someone hijacked his voter registration.
You know what's so sad, Congressman, is I hear these stories from so many states. It's not just Georgia, which then leads me to believe the whole thing, man, was compromised in some way, shape, or form, and nobody appears to be investigating this at all. Congressman Barry Loudermilk, it's great having you on the program for a first time. I hope to get you back again soon.
Anytime. Would love to.